Okay guys, so welcome to the presentation, 3 steps to losing your baby belly. My name's Katie Bulmer-Cooke. You're going to hear from Kelly very shortly, and we are the creators of the Fit Mummy manual. So there's a picture of us. That's what we look like in real life. I'm the one on the left, Kelly's on the right. So as I mentioned, my name's Katie, and just to give you a little bit of background on me and what I do and where I've been in the fitness industry, I was named this year as UK Personal Trainer of the Year 2012. I was also named in the top 10 global personal trainers to watch 2012. And more importantly than all of those things, I'm also a mother to 2-year-old Heidi. She's a little tinker. And just to give you a little bit of background on my story, my pregnancy, and how I regained my pre-baby figure, I got rather large during my pregnancy. I gained almost 4 stone, but I lost my baby weight in just 10 weeks, following the exact same principles that we're going to talk about tonight. Had quite an easy pregnancy. It was a little bit uncomfortable in the job that I do. Quite a straightforward birth, I guess. A long labour of 74 hours. But then it was afterwards that I had a few complications. I suffered from retained placenta and was in and out of hospital quite a while after I had Heidi. And what that meant for me in terms of getting back in shape and getting healthy again post-baby was that exercise was definitely out of the question for at least 6 to 7 weeks postnatal. So the majority of my results were achieved through nutrition and through mindset, which of course we'll be talking about tonight. So I'll now hand you over to Kelly so she can share her background and her experience of being a mother.
Everyone, as you can probably tell, we've both got very different accents. I'm originally from New Zealand. I am a top UK fitness model and also a sponsored athlete. I own a couple of gyms here in Sheffield, and I'm a pre- and postnatal exercise trainer. My little girl is only 5.5 months old. She is a bundle of joy. Now, my story with regards to pregnancy is I actually fell pregnant 3 weeks after the Britain finals last year and my last bodybuilding competition. So my body was in the best shape, the best shape really of my life last year. I pretty much had an okay pregnancy. I was my thoughts on what I was going to do went out the window as soon as morning sickness hit. But I tried to keep my nutrition going and just exercise when I could during my pregnancy. I was also lucky enough to have the birth that I wanted. I had, but for me, post-baby, my most difficult thing that I found was a self-image of myself and accepting the changes. Going from a fitness model to a new mother was pretty hard. My mindset was something that I needed to start from. I struggled with Nivea, thinking that I needed Nivea in front of me where I was. I couldn't leave the room for a minute, and it was very frustrating because I really didn't know how I was either going to get my life back, how I was going to train. But for me, this is where the Fit Mummy manual came in and really saved me. Being able to work out in my living room with Vaya there, which was my big security, and also start with the right mindset again, just to get some more self-confidence in myself and in my appearance again. And that's and now over to you, Katie.
Cool. Okay, so me and Kelly have this big vision that we want to create a Fit Mummy revolution. We want to create a nation, a world of fit mummies who feel great from the inside out. Great self-image, fit and healthy. And basically we want to banish and ditch all the fad diets that you've ever heard every and any new mother go on, whether it's the cabbage soup diet, whether it's starving yourself, whether it's a calorie counted restricted program, whatever it may be. We really want to champion ditching the fad diet. We want people to be really, really healthy, eat healthily, and have a good, positive relationship with food. We also want to remove the pressure that probably 99.9% of new mums feel when they've had their baby. And this pressure doesn't have to be, immediately post baby. This pressure can go on for years and years and years, and that pressure comes from the media, and it can also come from our peers, friends or acquaintances, or just other people that we've come into contact, whether it be at playgroups, at the gym, wherever it may be. There is a mountain of pressure on new mums to get back in shape and almost have a perfect airbrushed body like weeks after having a baby, and that's just not realistic. So we want to totally remove that pressure. Basically, we want to keep it real. We want to champion the cause of mums all over the world who just want to be themselves and feel great in their own skin, be fit and healthy, and basically, as our strapline says, we want to help new mothers lose their tummy and feel great being a mummy. And that's our big mission with the Fit Mummy Revolution. We want everybody to be happy and healthy from the inside out. So over to Kelly to talk about basically how everyone is different in our own bodies.
So, next slide. We've done it and so can you. Well, everyone's different. Especially me, obviously I started off as an athlete. I was lucky enough to have the knowledge of a pre and postnatal trainer, same as Katie. But really that's what we need to accept, that every single individual, we're all different, we're all going to have different goals. But the thing is we've got the Fit Mummy manual to help give you the tools, to give you an option, to get you the results that you deserve. It's about the body again. We are all going to have, different results with our bellies, how they're shaped, whether or not we've got stretch marks, whether or not we've got loose skin. But the most important is learning to love your body again. We have created, and I think, as females, we forget this. We've created another human inside of us, and we should really be proud of what we've created and how our body is changes, and learning to accept what we've gone through with yourself, and really learning to love yourself. And in the Fit Mummy manual, we give you the tools and the principles on learning how to do this. Katie, next one for you.
Yeah, and I think it's also worth mentioning that while you're seeing mine and Kelly's before and after pictures just there on the screen, that is our own personal transformation. Everybody will have their own. Everybody's body will look different at the start and different at the finish. And it is, like Kelly says, about learning to love what you've got and making the best of what you've got as well. So let's look at the 3 steps to losing your baby belly. Number 1, it's all in your head. And this is basically about mindset. Mindset is the foundation to your eventual result. Think of it as like building a house. Mindset is the foundations. Your nutrition is the actual house itself, and the exercise element is like putting the roof on the top of the house. The walls, the brickwork, and the roof will not be possible without the good, strong foundations, without the right mindset. So with that in mind, we wanted to share with you 3 of our top tips to helping you get your head in the right place, because if you can get your head in the zone, you will become unstoppable at getting fantastic results. So the first tip is living in the moment. Every single day we make choices and decisions that we are in control of. We have the choice to exercise or not exercise. We have the choice to eat X, Y, or Z. It is all within our control. But sometimes habit creeps in and we start to do things that we aren't thinking about anymore. And by living in the moment, I mean we should stop, make conscious decisions based on where we want to be, and then act. So let's put that into practice. Say, for example, this happens to me all the time. I go to a local toddler group and they pass the biscuits round at the end of the snack time. Someone offers you a biscuit, the habit takes over and you would just normally take one without thinking about it. When you decide to live in the moment, it's like pausing time. You're offered the biscuit and you have the chance to stop, consider the decision you're about to make, and then act. So when you stop, you should be asking yourself, will this decision take me closer to my goal or further away? Because your success will never ever stand still. You'll only ever be pulled in one direction, towards where you are right now, or in the opposite direction, where you want to be. So start making conscious decisions. Another good example is, say if the other half decides that they want to get a takeaway. There are loads of decisions that go along that line that lead up to the takeaway going into your mouth. You make the decision that you're going to have one. You make the decision to go and look for the menu. You make the phone call. You decide what you're going to have. The takeaway comes. You decide to put it in your mouth. At every step along that line, you have the choice to change the direction. You have the choice to not go ahead with that decision and to take yourself closer to where you want to be. So that's living in the moment. Another great technique for helping you stay in the zone is positive self-talk. Positive self-talk is basically the little voice inside your head that either tells you you can't or you can. And to put that into practice, imagine you're doing a workout, and it does get quite tough, because a workout should be quite tough if it's going to work. And a little voice in your head says, oh, this is too hard, I can't do this anymore. Again, you need to stop and make a conscious decision to change what the voice inside your head is telling you. Whenever you hear the word can't, take the T off it and make it a can. Make that voice inside your head always a positive one and never a negative one. A voice that tells you you can fit that workout into your day. You can do an extra 3 press-ups. You can do an extra 2 squats. You can make a decision not to have chocolate on an afternoon. It's all about the can-do attitude, is positive self-talk. Now the third strategy, and I'm yet to meet someone that hasn't experienced this, is frenemies. Now a frenemy is a friend that is also your weight loss enemy. It could be someone you went to school with, it could be a best friend, it could even be a family member. But there are 2 kinds of frenemy. You have the frenemy that's doing certain actions, and those actions are their way of being kind. So they say, oh, go on, here's a biscuit, or here's a glass of wine. That's just their way of being kind. They're not trying to knock you off course. That's just their way of being nice. That's frenemy type number 1. Frenemy number 2, however, is the friend that is trying to hold you back. They don't want you to look and feel better than they do. They don't want to be left behind. They're quite happy for you to be the person that kept all their weight on after they had a baby, because it makes them feel better about themselves. Sometimes there's a little bit of jealousy in there as well. So they're your two types of frenemy, and typically the second type will try and drag you towards the bar rather than towards the gym. But what I'm trying to say to you here is that you don't have to stop seeing these people altogether. They can still be part of your life. It's just how you manage these frenemies through different strategies. Of course, you can use the strategies that I've just discussed, living in the moment and positive self-talk, to combat your frenemy. Making conscious decisions when they're around, telling yourself that you can resist X, Y, and Z that they offer you. Or another great tip that I would give you is make sure that the situations you find yourself in with these frenemies are within your control. So for example, if the frenemy invites you round for dinner to their house, instead offer them to come to dinner at your house. Because when they're in your territory and they're in your space, then you are in control of the food choices, of the drink choices. You don't have to be left stranded and totally within their control. So that's a great strategy for combating frenemies. Another good one is, and a lot of people feel pressure, if you're out for a meal or you're going a night out, to drink alcohol. If you decide that you don't want to drink alcohol because you're trying to get a really good result and get your body back, but the frenemy's going, oh, go on, just have a glass of wine. One of my favourite strategies is to tell the frenemy that you have an ear infection and are on antibiotics and you can't drink. Nobody ever questions the ear infection scenario, and loads of my personal training clients use that all the time. So that's one of my top tips. Okay, let's hand over to Kelly. Kelly is going to talk about food is fuel.
Right, guys, so nutrition, food is fuel, is an essential key to gaining back your pre-baby figure and, of course, losing the belly. Now, we start off, it's an essential, not a pastime. Now, I know a lot of mothers with new babies like to go out for tea or coffee with other mums. Sometimes this can end up being 2-3 times a week. Now, this could potentially be stopping you from getting the results that you want. So, now all mothers are in your position. So my suggestion is that you either bring your own snacks or maybe drink some herbal tea. I'm sure the mothers aren't going to see that as a problem. In fact, I'm sure the mothers will look up to you. Now, also remember, if you're breastfeeding, keeping on a healthy nutrition plan is not only essential for you, but for your baby. Now, what to cut out? So, we all know the obvious ones, which of course are sugar, so that's those cakes when you're meeting up with your mummies. Processed food, anything that comes in a packet, turn it out, read what the ingredients are, don't have it. Important that you stay away from things with sweeteners. A lot of these stuff are just fooling us into not knowing really what they're actually doing to us. And so especially feeding as well, it's really important. And the other big one we need to cut out is wheat. Limiting your excess carbs will obviously help your waistline and help you lose the baby. The next one we're going to talk about is very essential. It's water. Now, why is it such an essential tool for weight loss? Well, our bodies are made of 8% water, so to flush any toxins out or any fat, we need to be drinking water. Especially if you're breastfeeding, you'll need to be. Now, one of our fantastic tips in our book is to remember to have a glass of water when you feed your baby. sometimes I know myself, I'll get to 12 o'clock and I can just tell when I haven't had a glass of water is when I start feeding her and my mouth starts to go, and automatically I think, right. Another suggestion would be to, as soon as you get up, actually no, in fact, I'll tell you about my ideal day. That's the best way of telling you this. So, an example of my how I plan my day out is I get up and the first thing I do is I drink a pint of water. Why? Because then that's at least 500 milliliters. Then I do is for breakfast I have a healthy shake. Now in my healthy shake, this is where I pack lots of nutrients in. I use coconut milk and I use things like bananas, berries, lots of healthy nutrients packed in to my morning shake. At lunchtime I have an omelette with some eggs and some salad, or some fish and some salad. Then in the afternoon I have a handful of nuts, so lots of healthy oils and omegas. And then for dinner, I probably have some grilled chicken with some vegetables. And I'll finish off with some organic probiotic yogurt. So that's an example of the day how I stay on track and how I stay healthy. And of course, every time I feed my baby, I make sure that I'm having at least between 300 to 500 mils of water. So I'm getting in about 2 to 3 litres a day. There's 7 different breakfast options, 7 different lunches, and 7 different dinners, and lots of recipes for you guys to choose from. So that's step's important. Food baby belly.
Okay.
Step 3, Katie.
Okay, step number 3 is sack the sit-ups. I think there's a common misconception out there that to get a flat tummy we need to do hundreds and hundreds of sit-ups, but that simply isn't the case. What we should be doing instead is conditioning our core muscles. Now you can see on the diagram on screen a picture of a prenatal mother or somebody who is yet to become pregnant or is in the early stages of pregnancy on the left, through to someone who is in the latter stages of pregnancy or even postnatal on the right. And you can see that the rectus abdominis, the muscles that run right down the middle, which are commonly known as like your six-pack muscles, have begun to separate. The gap between those muscles that have separated, that's where the bump comes forward and through. A lot of mothers that find that they have that little sort of pouch underneath their belly button are usually suffering from this separation, abdominal separation, also known as rectus diastasis separation. Now, how we combat that and how we get that rectus abdominis to join back together and close that gap is to condition what's called the transverse abdominis, known as the TVA. TVA are the deep lying core muscles. Now, TVA is activated by pulling your navel back towards your spine rather than bracing or tensing your abdominals. So just as you're sitting looking at the screen now, just breathing normally. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Every time you breathe out, draw your navel back towards your spine. That's TVA working. Now, TVA is also connected to the pelvic floor. So if you can make one switch on, you'll automatically switch on the other. But if you want to turn your attention directly to pelvic floor, think of it like this. As you're sitting at your computer screen, gently pull up at the back as if you were trying to stop yourself from breaking wind. Now pull up at the front as if you were going to try and stop yourself from passing water, and then draw your navel towards your back. That's TVA. Try and hold that contraction for 10 seconds and then relax at the belly button, relax at the front, relax at the back. You should be able to lift up at the back, through to the front, and then draw in TVA and hold that for 10 seconds. Ideally, do 10 blocks of 10 seconds. Now you might find that 10 seconds is too much for you right now, so keep working on building up to that 10-second hold. But if you can condition TVA and condition pelvic floor, the abdominal muscles will start to pull back together. That gap that you see on screen there on the right will begin to close, and that is how you will begin to flatten your abdominals and lose that little pouch or that rounded feeling that you have underneath your belly button. And that is why we should sack the sit-ups. If we do sit-up after sit-up after sit-up, we're simply training the muscles to stay in this separated state. So make sure you work on pelvic floor, engaging TVA, drawing in the belly button, and that will help you to flatten your stomach again. And we should be thinking about doing that at every opportunity, whether it's just as you are now, sitting at a computer in the car, or whether it's picking your baby up, lifting something from the floor. Always engaging TVA and pelvic floor is so important. So as we've shared with you our 3 top tips, you've got to get the mindset right, you've got to get the nutrition right, and then you've got to choose the exercises that are appropriate for the postnatal mother. So if you would like to become a fit mummy, we can obviously share with you more information than we've shared tonight, as we've only got half an hour. We have the Fit Mummy Manual ebook and the DVD home workout. We've got them still at our pre-launch price just until the 8th of December. After the 8th, the book will go up to $47 from $19.99, and the DVD will go up to $17.99 from $14.99. So we only have 2 days of this offer running. So if you would like to become a fit mummy, if you would like to know more on the points that we've shared tonight, and basically be given everything that you need to go through a transformation like me and Kelly have, and like so many of our clients have, then this is the opportunity to do that. But as you've already joined us for the web chat tonight, we want to give you some free gifts. So Kelly's going to talk you through what the free gifts are that you're all going to receive after the web chat.
Okay, guys. Tonight we're going to give away 7 tummy flattening exercises. Now, Katie's just talked you through the TVA activation. All these exercises work alongside this and will really maximise your results. The second tip that I get all the time from my postnatal clients. So I've put together a fantastic report on how to reduce loose tummy skin as best as possible without having to think about surgery. Really, take into account all the aspects on that report and try it from all angles if you are desperate. The last one is a 7-day breastfeeding friendly. Now, I'm very passionate about I put this plan together. I hope you really enjoy it. There's some really yummy recipes on there, and hopefully you'll get a lot out of it. And they are our free gifts to you today for attending.
Awesome. So guys, now that you know what your free gifts are, we've gone through those steps, we're going to open for 5 minutes of questioning. So you see the chat box on your screen. If you would like to ask us any questions, please type them in the box, fire away, and we'll answer them as best we possibly can. Don't be shy.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. Kelly, I think if there's no questions, we must have answered them all quite well.
I know.
Oh, thanks, Tina. Thanks a lot. Great info.
Thanks, Tina.
Guys, you can ask us anything at all, whether it's nutrition related, whether it's exercise related. Thank you, Kimberly.
Kimberly.
Okay, as well, if you've got nothing that you want to ask us, we will send over your free gifts. Oh, here we go. Do you tip the balance of importance towards nutrition over exercise? Okay, do you want me to answer this one, Kelly, or do you want to answer?
I'll answer this. Obviously, for me, at the moment I'm in a position. I've got a 5.5-month-old baby. I'm gonna say from my experience over the past few weeks, because I know a lot of new mothers are probably in with me. Over the past week or so, I've struggled to exercise because my baby's going through a growth phase, and she's taking up more time than I thought. So, nutrition for me, I think, should be 100%. All the time. That if you're unable to exercise and you can stay on top of your nutrition, I think that in itself is really important. But then you've got the case of doing effective short amounts of exercises, which is what we focus on in the Fit Mummy manual, 6 minute, 12 minutes. So that's my view on it. Have you got a different view on it, Katie?
No, I totally agree. And when I think about when I lost my baby weight, mine was, I lost my baby weight within 10 weeks. The first 7 to 8 weeks of that was purely nutrition based. I couldn't do any exercise. And then when I did, like Kelly said, I did workouts like those that are in the Fit Mummy manual, 6 to 12 minute workouts. And they certainly speeded up my results. But going back to the old saying of you can't out-train a bad diet, I would definitely say that nutrition comes first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, any other questions? Oh, here we go. Hi, guys. Okay, Katie, I tried to do the little black dress clover shell, but the problem I have a lot of foods I don't like and was finding it. I couldn't eat the foods because it was child balsam and it put me off the food conveyor. Any sauces? Yes, that I cause use with stuff that isn't tomato based. You don't like tomatoes. Okay. Now, everyone's different when it comes to nutrition. Personally, I go through phases of eating quite basic, simple, kind of eating the same foods a lot of the time. And then sometimes I get quite creative and try putting things together, new concoctions, more exciting recipes. And sauces is a question that I'm asked quite a lot. If you don't like tomato-based things, you can get wheat-free, gluten-free versions of a lot of sauces. I'm a big fan of spicing food up with herbs and spices, so fresh coriander, fresh mint, fresh basil, loads of different fresh herbs and some spices, paprika, turmeric, cumin seeds. Adding those things to food can give them a lot of flavour. I'm also a big fan of hummus, as a lot of people like something a little bit wet or moist with their food. They don't like it too dry. So hummus can add that element to food. Also oils, olive oil, coconut oil, again mixed with fresh herbs is a great way to spice up your food. Going back to nutrition and food, I think it's important that we also start to see food as fuel, like Kelly mentioned, that it shouldn't always be something that becomes a hobby or a pastime or something that we'll have to be particularly excited about. It can be something that is just, we're putting it in our body for a desired response. That's another way that you can look at the nutrition side of things as well. I hope that answers your question, Helen. Does that help? Does that give you some ideas? Any other questions, guys? Okay, well, I don't think we've got any other. Oh, here we go. Lisa is asking, what advice do you give new mums to help rebalance hormones? Kelly, do you want to take this one, or do you want me to answer?
Right, rebalancing hormones. I mean, from my experience, being on the right supplements really helps. So making sure that you are still taking you can take your pre-pregnancy. Definitely look at taking a quality omega oil capsule. This not only helps with balancing hormones, but inflammation body. Another thing that you can look at to help balance hormones is there is a natural herb called maca. Now, I've been using maca every day since post-birth, and it's a natural adaptive. It basically balances hormones out. But when it comes to hormones, it really is down to your nutrition, cutting out the processed foods, cutting out the wheat and the sugar, because all those foods affect your hormones badly. Introducing lots of vegetables, lots of fruit, clean protein, nuts, really lots of good healthy fats, organic olive oil, coconut oil, all those foods are going to really help with your hormones. But from my perspective, all those elements, got the supplementation, water, healthy nutrition, are all going to help with your hormones. And sleep, if you get it.
So let's have...
Anything from your side, Katie?
No, I just totally agree with what you're saying. I think once you start cutting out the things from your diet that weren't supposed to be there in the first place, hormones will balance themselves naturally, and then with some good supplementation can really help take that at the next level. Okay, well, it doesn't look like we've got any more questions. So on behalf of myself and Kelly, the Fit Mummies, we would just like to say thank you for coming along. We will be doing more of these in the future on different topics, so please make sure you keep up to date with us on Facebook. Follow us on Facebook, the Fit Mummy Manual, or follow us on Twitter at Fit Mummy Manual, and we'll be letting you know about future web chats. We hope you enjoyed it. We would like your feedback, and the free gifts will be winging their way over to you tonight.
Brilliant. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.